What's up, everyone? My name is Rad, and I'm here today bringing you my guide on Sushang. I'll be going over her traces, talent, technique, Eidolons, recommended light cones, relics, and team compositions. I'm going to make all of my character guides as concise but detailed as possible. She will be level 50 and Ascension 3 for this guide. Timestamps will be listed down below in the description. Without further ado, let's drop that transition. God, she's so adorable. Traces, Cloud Fencer Art, Starshine. This is Sushang's normal attack. It dishes out physical damage equal to X amount of her attack to a singular enemy. Cloud Fencer Art, Mountain Fall. This is her skill. Same as her normal attack, she'll dish out physical damage to a single enemy, though in addition, there's also a 33% chance to trigger the effect. Sword Stance on the final hit. Sword Stance essentially just lets you perform another hit again that deals physical damage, though this one does much less damage compared to the initial hit. Also, if the enemy you hit is inflicted with Weakness Break, the bonus damage from Sword Stance is guaranteed. Even though this skill has RNG attached to it, it's quite strong, especially when Sword Stance triggers, but things get a bit crazier when we talk about her ultimate. Which is Shape of Taishu Dawn Herald. She performs an action that dishes out physical damage equal to X amount of her attack, while also instantly advancing forward her action by 100%. On top of that, her attack increases by X amount, and for the next 2 turns, upon using her skill, you have 2 extra chances to trigger Sword Stance. Though those extra instances of Sword Stance only deal 50% of the original damage. This is pretty ridiculous. Even though it's not considered an extra turn, she essentially gains a free turn from performing her ultimate. On top of that, she gains an attack boost, and it also gives the chance to proc Sword Stance 2 more times from her skill for 2 turns. If the stars aligned for a turn, it sounds something like this. Use her skill, then perform her ultimate, which leads into another immediate action, then perform her skill again, and then Sword Stance procs twice. This means you can essentially get 5 whole hits overall in 1 turn and deal an insane amount of single target damage. And on top of all that, it now leads me into her talent, which is Dancing Blade. When an enemy has a toughness meter depleted or weakness broken during the battle, Sushang's speed will increase by X amount for 2 turns. Now adding everything from earlier and now applying a speed boost, this is the icing on the cake. Cloud Fencer Art Warcry, this is her technique. Sushang will hit the enemy. Once in battle, she'll instantly deal physical damage equal to 80% of her attack to all enemies. Great technique, especially since you also apply bleed damage over time effect as well. For priority of leveling up skills, I'd recommend the order of ultimate, skill, talent, and then basic attack. Abilities: Guileless. Ascension 2 unlock. When her HP is 50% or lower, she'll likely receive less aggro from enemies. Solid ability, nothing too crazy. Riposte. Ascension 4 unlock. For every Sword Stance that triggers, the damage it deals boosts by 2% and can stack up to 10 times. Really good ability as it further elevates the damage of her skills bonus instance. Vanquisher. Ascension 6 unlock. Upon using either her basic attack or skill, if there are any enemies on the field with their toughness meter broken, her action is advanced forward by 15%, and this is just the cherry on top. Eidolons. I want to preface this by saying that Sushang at base is honestly all you need. She excels so well. Her Eidolons more so provide quality of life, or you can consider them additional benefits. I'll be skipping her E3 and E5 as they only add levels to her skills respectively. E1, cut with ease. Upon using her skill against an enemy who's had their toughness meter or shield depleted, it'll regenerate 1 skill point. Basically just a free use of her skill since she'll get the point back, which is nice. E2, refine and toil. Upon activating sword stance, the damage Sushang receives is reduced by 20% for 1 turn. It's nice to just half, I'd say. E4, cleave with heart. Her break effect increases by a whopping 40%. This is wild because now she deals a ton more damage upon breaking a toughness meter. If going for Eidolons, this is where I recommend to stop at. E6, dual like water. This makes it so that the speed boost from her talent is now stackable up to 2 times. Also, upon entering battle, she will instantly gain 1 stack of her talent's boost. Even though E6 is incredibly good due to her basically becoming even faster due to it being able to stack, you'll be a-okay with just E4. E6 just makes it so she is just min-max to the absolute. Light coned. Sushang is of the hunt path. 4 5 stars I recommend in the night. It'll increase her crit rate. Also, while she is in battle, for every 10 speed that goes past the 100 mark, the damage of her basic attack and skill increases, and the crit damage of her ultimate increases as well. This effect can stack up to 6 times. This is her current best in my opinion. The crit rate is great, plus the amount of damage increase she gets, especially when achieving high stacks, really skyrockets her output even further. Cruising in the Stellar Sea, it'll increase her crit rate, but also increases her crit rate against enemies with 50% HP or lower. Upon her defeating an enemy, she will also gain an attack increase for 2 turns. Solid mainly for the first part due to the extra crit rate you get. For 4 stars, I recommend Swordplay. Each time she hits the same enemy, her damage increases and it can stack up to 5 times, though it'll be removed as she switches targets. What's crazy is that at super imposition 5, it'll be 16% damage dealt increase times the 5 stacks, which comes out to a astronomical 80% more damage dealt. This one is essentially her signature light cone. As you can see, she is literally right here on it. Subscribe for more. This will increase the damage of her basic attack and skill, but when you reach her max energy, the effects of it will be enhanced by 2 times. This one is insane because there are times you won't use your ultimate as you'll hold on to it to decimate an enemy really quick later. But in Honkai Star Rail, bonus damage or damage bonus, whichever way you want to word it, is much more valuable than attack bonuses in majority of the cases. So this one is great. River flows in spring. It'll increase her speed and overall damage when she enters battle, though if she takes damage, the effect will resume on her next turn. It's a solid light cone, I'd say. Not the best for a 4 star. Only silence remains. It'll increase her attack, and if there are fewer than 2 enemies, it'll increase her crit rate. Overall good light cone, as she can make the best use of both passive. For 3 stars, honestly, any adversarial, it'll increase her speed upon defeating an enemy. Arrows, she'll gain a crit rate boost for 3 turns at the beginning of battle. Darting arrow, once she defeats an enemy, she'll gain an attack boost. Now for relics, there are 3 I recommend. The best for her, in my opinion, is Champion of Streetwise Boxing. She'll gain a 10% physical damage boost, and if she attacks or gets hit, her attack will increase by 5% for the rest of the battle. But this can stack up to 5 times as well. Really nice because at max stacks, it'll be a 25% attack boost. Musketeer of Wild Wheat. She'll gain a 12% attack boost and a boost of 6% to her speed and 10% to her basic attack damage. This relic set is universally good as it provides a little bit of everything. Thief of Shooting Meteor. She'll gain an overall boost to her break effect by 32%, and when she creates Weakness Break, she'll regenerate 3 energy. This blends well with her whole kit. You can also do a 2+2 combination of any of the above and just use that as a substitute until you get a solid 4-piece set of Champions of Streetwise Boxing. Primary stats to look for are on the body, crit rate or crit damage; on the feet, speed or attack percentage, but switch to speed when you do acquire a relic piece with it. For substats, I'd say crit rate, crit damage, speed, or attack percentage. For planner ornaments, there's a few. Space Sealing Station. You'll gain an overall 24% attack boost from this, considering Sushang can easily reach a speed of 120 or more. Talia, Kingdom of Banditry. You'll gain a boost to her break effect of 16% on top of another 20% when she reaches a speed of 145 or higher. Then there is one more, but apologies, I've just been playing other games alongside Honkai Star Rail, so I've been slacking on my Simu. But the last planar ornament I recommend is Inert Salsoto. This will boost her crit rate by 8%, and if her crit rate is at 50% or higher, it'll boost her ultimate and follow-up damage by 15%. This is her best planar ornament, I'd say. Primary stats to look out for are on the planar sphere, physical damage, on the link rope, attack percentage, break effect, or energy regen rate. For substats, I recommend crit rate, crit damage, speed, or attack percentage. With Sushang, she'll definitely be your main damage dealer in most situations. For free to play, I'd recommend a Fire Trailblazer, Natasha, Asta, Sushang, or Fire Trailblazer, Natasha, or Asta, Serval, Sushang. Though for other lineups, I will say that Asta and Pella synergize incredibly well with her. Asta due to her speed buffs and Pella due to her defense shred. So I would recommend any team with them plus a healer or a shielder. You can also use Ting Yuan or Bronya as well. Though remember, play how you want and with who you want. It's about fun at the end of the day. Sushang is a DPS powerhouse, without a doubt. She was in Honkai Impact 3rd, and she is here now in Honkai Star Rail. I love the cute little Easter egg they did with her ultimate, plus her character just looks fantastic. If you do get a Sushang, should you level her up? Yes, I highly recommend her. She's a great overall DPS, and I'm sure she will have some longevity as Honkai Star Rail progresses as well. Another one in the books. I've been having a blast doing these. Even on release, the amount of variety has been wild. Though if you enjoyed today's video, think about dropping me a like or a dislike. I'm always open to constructive criticism. Also, if you've been enjoying the Honkai Star Rail content, think about dropping me a subscription as well. Would greatly appreciate it. Per usual, my name is Rad. You're all awesome. See you later.